2006 late harvest Viognier. The interesting story is it was our first commercial release. We had made the 2005 red varietals previous, but they were barrel aging, and a dessert and white wines only need about a year to get to market. This particular late harvest was motivated from me 8 years ago when I tasted a wonderful late harvest Viognier from a local winemaker named Matthew's Winery. He only made it that year. It was an experiment for him, but for me, it was a moment where I said, I need those grapes. And I figured out where the vineyard was, and it at that time was used by another winery, but when that winery no longer wished to buy grapes from that, we were in a position to secure the wine from that particular vineyard. It's a beautiful site on the slopes of Horseheaven Hills as they flow down into the Yakima Valley. It has good slope. It's about 3 acres. And our first vintage, we got incredibly fortunate. The late October, 30th of October, was predicted to have a very cold snap come through from the Arctic winds. And it looked like the winds would freeze the grapes, which would make ice wine. So we quickly organized our pickers to be ready to go. And the first night, October 30th, it did indeed freeze. The vineyard temperature got down to approximately 6 degrees Celsius and allowed the grapes to freeze solid. They started picking at 5 in the morning, and at sunup, at about 7:45 to 8 o'clock, the sun came up and it started to warm up just enough to cause some of the grapes to start to go slushy and start to melt. So we stopped picking and took the grapes that we had picked frozen to the winery and pressed them frozen and made half the vineyard ice wine and waited for the second night, which was supposed to be colder still, to get the rest of the vineyard. The second night came and it did not freeze. So then we had a late harvest, which was at that point well-ripened grapes, extremely well-ripened, but not ice wine. 7-8 degrees Celsius, and we will continue to ferment that until we get to about 14% residual sugar, which is where this is, and about 10% alcohol. The last 2 or 3 weeks, every day we're tasting it, finding that perfect balance of sweetness without being syrupy, still retaining the aromatics that are world famous for the Viognier grape. And we think we have a product that a lot of people come across the room in a sea of 80 wineries, and they're all pouring Cabernets and Merlots and Syrahs in Washington, and a small little cult following now where people will come across the room just to